Hello, I'm Kim Butler, and today's money myth is that bonds are the best place to store safe money. And as in so many of our money myths, I used to believe this too. And there's just been a lot of proof lately that bonds are a very dangerous place to store safe money because of the fluctuation of the bond values. Now, bond interest rates and bond values are confusing to understand, and I remember way back in college learning about them in some financial class, and I'm still not sure that I have it straight. Some people can get this down easily, but for those that can't, let me just remind us all that when a bond value goes down, it is because the bond interest rate is going up, and vice versa. If the bond interest rate goes down, then the bond value goes up. And it used to be that bonds didn't move around that much. And it also used to be that bonds operated oppositely of the stock market as a whole. And this is no longer the case. So we have this old thinking that bonds are a good place to store safe money, when in actuality, municipal bonds backed by municipalities like cities, counties, etc. There are cities and counties that are going under, they're going bankrupt, they're going out of business, so to speak. And so the old tried and true muni bond portfolio, which used to be everybody's go-to place to store safe liquid money, is no longer a safe liquid place. And so we have to be searching for alternatives. We need to be looking at alternative places to store our cash. It's particularly problematic as well right now in that bond interest rates are fairly low. And so people are going to stocks and mutual funds with stocks in them in order to store their safe money, which is really a recipe for disaster. It always amazes me when you look at a pyramid of various asset classes that are available, the safest place to store money is not on there. It always amazes me as well that when we read information about people seeking places to store safe liquid money, they'll talk about how low the interest rate is on their savings account, and they'll talk about how unsafe bonds are, and so they feel like there's no alternative for them to store their cash. And yet we have an industry that is almost 200 years old called the life insurance industry that offers a product that is a very good alternative place to store cash, and it is called whole life insurance, WHOLE. It works very much like a savings account, and it's called that because it's designed to be around for your whole life. And there are a whole separate host of myths in the arena of life insurance, but without getting caught up into those today, let's just suffice it to say that whole life insurance can overcome this myth of bonds being the safest place to store cash and provide you a much better alternative. There's an additional issue in the bond arena that is a challenge, and that's the fees. So obviously, if you have a low interest rate and then there's fees coming out in addition to the low interest rate, you're at a very minimal growth environment. And the reason that the fees play a role is that most brokerages and financial planners are providing valuable advice to you, and they are charging a fee on your assets instead of charging a fee for that advice. And so you have a situation where the brokerage houses and the financial planners don't want to recommend a third alternative, which might just be as simple as cash. And they also typically don't have enough knowledge to recommend any other alternatives, such as whole life insurance or short-term mortgages or any other thing that might be a place to store liquid, emergency/opportunity-oriented cash. So if you look at bonds as a safe place to store money and that myth, and then you remember that fees come out of that, you can see why you're in an even more negative environment. Not that the bonds are earning negative interest rate, but the interest rate that they are earning minus the fees could get you very close to a negative interest rate.